this is the origins. This is where we begin. 1425, Florence, Donatello's bust of St. Rosore. It's not a portrait. It's a saint who has been dead for 1,000 years. Donatello, it's a reliquary bust. You'll see that the top, the hair comes off, the bone could be inserted inside. You need only go downstairs in the medieval hall, in the medieval galleries to see what reliquary busts looked like up until this moment. Donatello reinvented the whole nature of the genre by deciding to make Santa Rosore look like a portrait of a saint. And to do this, he obviously had a contemporary pose for him. So it's a figure that represents St. Rosore, but there's a real person in it. And it has the most extraordinary, powerful quality. Two things that he did that shaped the future. Reliquary busts are cut off horizontally, and that's the way Donatello conceived his reliquary bust. He also created this fictive rim into which the drapery is tucked, giving it a socle. This is going to be what we find in Florentine Renaissance portrait busts from this point forward. And second, the focus on the gaze. And the gaze is going to differ from sculptor to sculptor, bust to bust. He laid the groundwork for the portrait bust. When we started the exhibition, I said, what are we going to do? We need the St. Rosore. This is the bust for Renaissance portraiture. And to my great pleasure, friends at Pisa made sure that we got it. Painting, very different scenarios. Throughout the exhibition, the key dialogue is between sculptors and painters. And you will find, I think, over and over again, that it's sculptors that are the innovators, painters that respond and follow. The painted portrait at this date is the profile portrait. And on this wall, you are looking at the three defining profile portraits of the 15th century. The one on the left, I've taught for over 30 years by Veneziano. I made 2 trips to Chambéry. I was insistent that we finally get this. It's the best preserved of the profile busts that have come down to us, and it's marvelous to have this group here.
What I want you to do is swing your gaze around this way, all the way through the end. What you see are the beginnings, around 1440, the profile portrait by Fra Filippo Lippi. Profile, 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 and then all of a sudden Botticelli's lady looks out at us. She starts to move, twist in space, and as Keith mentioned, with her gaze, she greets us, in a sense. In the middle of this change, we've placed one of the great busts of the 15th century, and I wanted to say that this bust is from the museums in Berlin. And as you look around the walls, you'll see Metropolitan Museum, Berlin, Berlin, Metropolitan Museum. You see how these two great collections came together in the study of this particular subject. So when you look at this bust of a young woman, had to have been done before 1464 when the artist died, you see one of the first appearances of the living, speaking bust.
Quite the opposite of the commonly taught view in classrooms that the difference between Renaissance and Baroque is that a Renaissance piece of sculpture has only a single point of view. Baroque is meant to be seen in the round. As you move around this is a piece of sculpture that you can see in the round. Everything that was going to be achieved in the 17th century is in this work right here. Shift from that to the wall with Giuliano de' Medici. Actually, this bust was not intended, it's not finished on the back, it was intended to be against the wall. And here we've set up a juxtaposition between painting and sculpture, and between two moments. The bust by Verrocchio from Washington in terracotta, possibly painted at one time, was probably done in celebration of the joust of 1475 that was staged in front of the Church of Santa Croce. 1478, fast forward 3 years, Cathedral of Florence, Pazzi conspiracy, the attempt to assassinate both Lorenzo the Magnificent, not yet magnificent, and Giuliano. They succeeded with Giuliano, who was stabbed 18 times? 19 times. And Botticelli's portrait was almost certainly commissioned to commemorate his martyrdom. And there you see the downcast eyes. He's in an interior. There's a turtle dove, symbol of mourning, on a bare branch, symbol of death. One shutter in the back of the room is open, symbolizes the escape of the soul.
Painting here by Andrea del Castagno, one of the earliest, if not the earliest, portrait of a single figure that has come down, which is broken away from that profile that we saw in the very first room, and instead he's challenging us with his gaze, with his stance, with his gesture, how he holds on to his cape. Very important moment for Florentine portraiture, and I think that you can see that all of the paintings here then react to that. They're all wearing these fantastic red garments.
You've left Florence, Republican Florence, nominally Republican Florence, because under the Medici, Florence was hardly what we would call a republic. You've entered now the courts of northern Italy, and in particular, Ferrara and Mantua. The great artist is Pisanello. And this, among other things in this exhibition, I hope people discover the greatness of Pisanello. He was the most famous artist of the first half of the 15th century. Praised by more humanists than anybody else, he portrayed virtually every ruler of the courts of Italy. Pisanello, in addition to being a painter, was also the inventor of the portrait medal. The first portrait medal, traditionally what is thought to be the first portrait medal, the defining portrait medal, is of the Byzantine Emperor John Palaeologus. We have several other juxtapositions. Beautiful black chalk drawing of Filippo Maria Visconti. The medal is opposite him. The drawing that Pisanello showed to the King Alfonso of Aragon in Naples as his proposal for the king's medal. The final medal there, and you'll see exactly what the king decided he did not want included in the medal. These are marvelous occasions of looking back and forth and seeing the whole process of creating a portrait.